I'm a bit overwhelmed. Checking these mullikeeps is almost impossible. From my research, I know there was 40 acres of working, and I've only scratched the surface. Like, I've only worked, I don't know, maybe a quarter acre's worth of it. And this is the mullock I'm dealing with. It's just piled up. Huge piles of it. I know the leads here were 40, 45, 80 and 90 foot deep, and they only worked the top two because the groundwater got too high and they couldn't pump it out. So there's still lots of gold here, way under my feet that I can't get to either. G'day guys, Chris here from Vo-Gus Prospecting. Today I'm out with my Makro Gold Racer and I'm going to be detecting around some mullock heaps that my research has led me to. This particular area was a very large reefing area up the top of this gully, and they worked and crushed all their stone down the bottom. Now I am right next to the crusher, well, where the crusher was, and I've got bucket loads of mullock, as you might be able to see behind me. So I am going to check around the base of them. I also want to show you some of the settings that the Makro Gold Racer uses, and how to bring out target responses from very, very small pieces of gold, or in the case that I'll be showing you, lead shot as a non-ferrous target. Now, I have to put a big shout out to Niard from Phase Technical. His videos have helped me massively, and he's also given me quite a lot of information in some messages on how to get this machine to work properly. So big thank you to him. Check out his channel, Phase Technical, because it's fantastic for a lot of different detectors. Flick it on. I'm going to turn it right up so you can hear any responses from the machine. This is factory settings. The ground phase is on 90 and all the sensitivity 65, threshold's 26, ISAT 6, tracking's off, backlight's off, and that's my save function. So what you want to do when you first get it is just ground balance it. And then sweep it around the ground so it gets a nice big patch of ground to balance itself to. And we can see here it's come up as a 59. Now we're going to use a lead shot pallet to tune our detector in. This is the shot pallet I'm talking about, and as you can see, it's absolutely tiny. It's actually a number 6 bird shot from a 410 shotgun, and you know they're minuscule. They weigh well under the sub-gram. I think they're hovering around a 0.06, so not even a tenth of a gram. So what you want to be doing is listening to your detector's threshold, and that is basically the hum that you can hear now. As it sits still, it's going to remain nice and steady, and you want that steadiness to remain with your detector as you move it around. Now, a little bit of, how should we say, vibration or where it drops out isn't so bad, but we don't want major dropouts. So to find out if your detector's settings are right, what we have to do is move the coil over the ground. Can you hear how it drops out every now and again? As I move the coil, it'll drop out somewhere near this bush. I've got steel caps on too, which is not a great idea, but anyway. So we'll move it over the ground, and you hear it drop out. Now, if there was a target there, you would miss it because the detector itself is struggling to recover from that mineralization in the ground. So we have to adjust some things. ISAT is intelligent self-adjusting threshold. Now, if you up this, it'll balance your threshold out to stay steady, but you will lose some depth of the machine. Since I'm only looking for tiny gold at the base of mullock heaps, I'm not terribly fussed about depth, so I'm going to up it to 7, and we're going to move it around again. So we still get a dropout, but it's not as bad. So this time I'm going to decrease the sensitivity by just a couple of clicks, so 63. And there we go, we hardly got a dropout. I've just put my target down on the ground here. Now, I know it's not buried, and I understand that it will change when it's under the ground. But what I'm trying to do, though, is pick out a very small target and identify that as a target and not ground noise. So I don't care if it's buried, I just care if it picks it out. Grab the machine. Now, for small targets, I like putting it in high frequency, which you just pull the trigger, press down, and you hear it changes the tone, and it just makes it a little bit easier to hear those targets pop out. So let's see if we can't find the target. So you can hear nice steady threshold all around the target. Then we go over it. And like I said, that is an incredibly small target, so if we put it in boost mode, it should bring it out even more, which is just a double click to the left. So I've done a little bit more mucking around with it just to get the settings absolutely spot on. We've got sensitivity on 69, threshold on 26, ISAT on 7. So we've upped the ISAT just a little bit, we've increased the threshold just a touch, and we've upped the sensitivity by 4 points from factory. We've ground balanced it a couple of times just to get a nice average, and it's at 66. Now it is important to remember to ground balance probably every few meters depending on where you are, just to make sure that your machine's up to it, or you can have tracking on. Tracking, though, I found you can possibly lose some targets. And if we just listen to the target response, so this is around the target, which is pretty steady, and now this is over the target. So you can see that it picks it out straight away. You would not miss that as a target. Well guys, that's it for me today. I only found a few bullet shells, bits of wire, rusty old junk as usual, but that's alright. That's what it's about, getting out here, swinging your detector over it and seeing if you can't find it. I hope this video has helped you, if you own the Makro Gold Racer, to understand a little bit more about how to use the settings to get targets to poke their heads out. You will have to do this for every single spot that you go to. And remember to double check it as you go. Take some lead shot along with you and test it, because it will give you the best possible response from your machine. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I hope to catch you out here sometime.